What are you guys doing here?
What are you doing here? Wait, are you doing a podcast right now?
Welcome to the Rob&Holly Show podcast.
I was told that we have 20 minutes with you, and I was like, this is amazing.
Now 16, thanks to the other people.
Okay. All right. No.
I don't even have 20 minutes worth of shit to talk about. This will be easy.
Oh, come on. No, you have so much going on. Congratulations on the new song, Texas.
Thank you.
Can we get the story behind that song? We asked 3 questions. Where were you? What were you thinking? What were you drinking? Oh, 4 questions. Just kidding. And who were you with when you heard that song? When that song came to be? When, it got invented?
Now I'm lost. Which question are we going with?
There's a lot of questions.
Where were you?
Where was I when I heard Texas?
Yes.
Man, I was in the kitchen of my house, which, by the way, I look at my background. Gwen let me borrow her Zoom meeting studio. That's what all the stuff is behind me. This is like her give makeup sign and her whatever that is.
It looks fancy.
So, yeah, that's her. I think Harajuku is the thing, but
I just thought you were rebranding. Yeah.
No, look, I don't think this goes together for some reason. I don't know, but well, I think I was in the kitchen and I first heard the song and I thought, I love the song, but I don't think I could get away with doing that. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it. I just had a hard time picturing myself singing it, and because it's so different than anything that I've ever done before. But then that's kind of what brought me back to it is that, because every time I make a record, I try to take a step in some other direction, whether it's a step forward, sometimes a step backwards, just something different than I did last time. And I always loved Conway Twitty for that reason. If you listen to his entire catalog, every record, he's kind of all over the place with what he did, and he kept it exciting. He was a song guy more than he was anything else. And so, and I want to be that also. And so, but I'm getting sidetracked. So Texas was one of those that the very thing that kind of had me a little bit nervous about it was also what drew me back to it. And man, I'm glad. And so was Scott Hendricks. When I finally told Scott, I said, okay, man, I said, I'm going to try Texas. He said, oh, thank God. Holy Christ, please. Thank you. Yes. And we had a blast when we got in there and made that record, because we kept trying things that, we messed with it so much. That's why there's that Clint Eastwood Good and the Bad and Ugly whistle on it. There's a hawk. If you listen closely, there's a hawk screaming in the background a couple of times. We messed with it so much because we were having so much fun with it, and we had to stop because they told us it was time to release the song. So here we are.
You were about to put some more sound effects on there?
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, why not? You get a baseball bat hitting a ball, anything you can think of, skillets dropping in the kitchen, everything.
So what lyrically jumped out most about that song to you?
Well, the George Strait. There's several George Strait references in the song, and they kind of flew past me the first time I heard it. I heard them mention George Strait, but then you start going, oh no, there's Amarillo by Morning. There's All My Exes Live in Texas. The song's super fun, even though it's about a guy getting dumped. But the song is written and recorded in a way that it's just fun. That's really, at the end of the day, all it is.
People from your home state are wondering, your first big song is Austin, and then now you're circling back to Texas, but the people of Oklahoma are going, when are we going to get a song, Blake?
Well, I had a song on my Christmas album years ago called Oklahoma Christmas. Yeah. And I've never heard it once ever played on the radio in Oklahoma. So that was their chance. They didn't play it, and now here we are.
Okay.
It was like you have one chance.
You got one chance and you blew it. No, I feel like you're wrong about that. But I can't think of anything, so I guess maybe you could be right about that.
We were just in your hometown, and you honored your high school with musical interest. I was like, that's great. And I saw the guy, he's like, everyone ever heard of Blake Shelton? Everyone's like, yay. When
I was probably related to most of the kids in that room, so I'm sure it wasn't like
they all had
that
like,
was a really cool deal.
story.
That's an organization called Music Will, and I guess they're doing that thing all over the country when they can. And they asked if I could come be a part of it, and of course I was happy to do it. It's a really neat deal, because I grew up there in Ada, Oklahoma, and they had music and band and all that, but it was not the kind of music or band that I was into. It was like marching band, and I think there may have even been like a jazz band or music theory, something like that, but there wasn't anything that you could go sit down and strum a guitar, or a bass guitar or play like a drum set, and so I just think it's a really cool idea, and it's not necessarily for kids to try to become, performers or a star or songwriter, but to have those skills. I told them that day, if you learn how to play one of these guitars, it'll change the rest of your life in lots of ways. Anytime you come home from work someday and you see your guitar sitting over in the corner and you can sit down and beat out a song, it's the greatest feeling and stress reliever in the world. It's just a great release, and music's an incredible, powerful thing.
Do you remember?
That's the only way. If you ask me, that's all I had.
Do you remember when you were younger, getting into music? Do you remember a time where you knew that that's what you wanted to do when you grew up? Yeah,
I did. I messed with music all through my childhood and stuff. But when I was about probably 15, 16 years old, something clicked. I got to where, every single day I would come home from school and I would put on, at the time, CMT was all we had, and we put on CMT. I would try to record my favorite videos. I would record the Bob Kingsley countdown every Sunday. I would record it. I don't even know why I would record it, but I just felt like it was something that I needed to have a record of. I would buy albums and learn who the musicians were and who the songwriters were. I started figuring out, hey, Paul Overstreet is an artist, but he's also a writer on all these Randy Travis records and Keith Whitley. And I just started getting so into it. It was my Xbox back then. It was my life, and so somewhere in there it just became an obsession, and anybody that knew me knew, hey, this kid's moving to Nashville. I don't know if he's going to make it as an artist or he's going to do something in country music industry, though. And so by the time I was 17, I graduated high school. I was still 17 when I moved to Nashville. I hadn't even turned 18 yet. I had to have some friends co-sign with me to get my electricity turned on and gas and water, and I wasn't even old enough, so there was no stopping me. I was too dumb to know that the odds were stacked way against anybody making it. I just went for it, thank God.
Do you think that that's the secret to success, is like a little bit of delusion? Yeah. And then like obsession as well? Or like, what do you think, how do you think you got here?
I think you have to be, for me, I was absolutely willing to fail and make an ass of myself in front of people, because I just wanted to do it so bad. I think just a willingness to not be too cool for school and just swing for the fence and be open-minded and learn and not think you know it all. That was one of the frustrating things for me as a coach on The Voice over the years, is that, I worked with incredible talent, but then every now and then there would be somebody that's so talented that it would just blow your mind, but they thought they knew it all and they wouldn't listen to anybody around them. And not that you're trying to change who they are as an artist, but everybody has room to, I feel like, grow and listen and learn. And if you can't do that, that may be the reason you never make it someday. And I've saw it 100 times on that show. And I don't know. I never, I definitely was stubborn in a lot of ways, but I was always felt like, who am I, I always wanted to learn and try to get better.
Do you think that if, like, say you were just getting into country music at this point, because the industry has changed so much and it heavily revolves around social media and everything, how do you feel like you would deal with that now if you were Blake Shelton at 17 and it's 2024?
TikTok dances? Is that it? You TikTok dances?
Hey, Holly, I mean, I'm telling you, I was willing to make an ass of myself. So. Social media for me was that was a bad combination for me back in the day. I never knew where the line was, especially after I would get after midnight, I'd be drinking all night and think it was a good idea to get on Twitter and get in arguments with people. So it may have, social media, I don't know. It could have worked for me or against me. I don't know, but I definitely would have been all about being a part of it, because I love to entertain. That's all I ever really wanted to do. Was I never loved being in the studio or loved being in the writing sessions. I always loved being on stage and being in front of people and trying to get a reaction out of them in one way or another. So social media is perfect for that, right?
Yeah.
And you can edit and make things exactly how you want them. But luckily I made it when I did, and I don't have do any of that stuff really. If I do a social media post, it goes through like 4 people that goes, okay, this is acceptable. Yeah, I think you can say that,
That's
somebody
a good
started
idea.
managing that a little bit more for you after the late night drunk tweets back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good idea. We're just trying to maintain at this point.
Yeah.
I'm happy they let that Kubota video go through because
right on the line.
Great.
That's right on the line, Holly. Yeah.
I was like, this has got to be Kubota's new commercial for their. Like, why don't they have this out? Why aren't they putting this out? What's going? This is literally what they should. You made a song. You had all the things.
They should. They should. I couldn't agree more.
You know what? I saw that you did the song for the best Christmas pageant ever. It'll be playing in the credits. But I wanted to know: is there a cameo of you in the movie?
I didn't get on board until it was too late. Because I thought the same thing too. Like when they came at me, I was like, okay, but I want to be, in it somewhere in the movie. That would be so fun. I'm such a fan of Dallas Jenkins anyway. But by the time they asked me to move, they were already going, hey, and by the way, we need it next week, But I've gotten to do that a lot over the years, especially since working in television. It kind of opens doors to a lot of different avenues, We did the Fall Guy too earlier this year, the theme song for that show. And I didn't get to be in that movie either. I don't know why. To me, I'm stuntman material, but I guess they didn't see it that way.
I think you should star in your own movie.
Can you I feel like we need to, a petition. I don't know what we need to do, but I would watch a full movie with you as the star.
I've done some voiceover work for some cartoons over the years, Ugly Dolls and Angry Birds. I got to work in that, but I did one movie called The Ridiculous Six years ago. It was a Netflix movie with Adam Sandler, and I played Wyatt Earp in that movie, and I think I was there for like 3 days, and then my part in the movie is probably about 5 minutes. And I said, okay, I see what this is now. I'm good. I'm good not doing movies. So
wait, are you a golfer like the rest of everybody in Nashville now?
No, not really. I don't know.
Because you wouldn't want to do a cameo with Adam again and Happy Gilmore too.
Well, again, it depends on what the ask would be. Now, a movie like that, it would be hard to say no to,
Yeah.
But it's normally those aren't the offers that come my way.
Well, plus I think it's hard with your schedule because you got a Vegas residency coming up, which is going to be exciting. We're all going to take a trip to Vegas to see you.
Are you coming?
Yes.
Hopefully.
The
why not? Yes. We haven't been to Vegas in a long time. Probably since the ACMs moved out of
I love Vegas. I have a horse named Vegas. I love Vegas so much. So
Well, you should come out. You'll probably be out there for the NFR. And now that you say you have a horse named Vegas, you must be a cowgirl. I think it's going to be fun. Gwen gets frustrated that it's called a residency because she did a residency that was like 62 or 3 shows, and my residency is literally 6 shows. And she's like, "That is such bull crap that you're calling it a residency. That makes me so mad. That is such bull crap." But it's more like staying over. A little bit longer than a tour stop, but
it's hard to call it like a vacation. You know what I mean? Like everyone's a vacation-see.
Did I see they gave you the key to the city as well in Vegas?
If they did, I must have misplaced it. But I do have
about that.
I think they did when I came and I did we did the grand opening for Old Red. And they did. Now that you say that, oh my God, I feel terrible. They did give me a plaque, and they did give me the key to the city, and I have no clue where that is. Now that you say that, I better.
Yeah. So you didn't get to go to test which doors it opens or anything.
No. In my defense, that was a night. I'm glad I wasn't on Twitter that night. Also.
Yeah. So, are you losing things all the time? I'm always losing like my driver's license, my credit card. I can't find my phone.
When people give me things out on tour, it's sometimes I don't know where it ends up, and it's a shame because some of the coolest gifts. I'm sure people steal the stuff, but it'll be like a football helmet from the team, whatever stadium not stadium, but arena or whatever you're in. And then you're going, "Hey, what happened to my helmet?" And they're like, "I don't know. You left it in the dressing room." It's like, Jesus. So that does happen a lot out on tour. And I try to keep up with that stuff because I've got a room in my house where I try to put cool things from over the years. And most of it's probably in a dumpster somewhere or in some intern's house somewhere.
Well, it's got to be hard to keep up. I'm sure that people are constantly gifting you things. So it's like, where do you put it?
Not as much as they used to, but I'm sure word's gotten out. It's like, "Hey, man, we gave Blake the key to the city, and he literally
lost it
in the bathroom. We found it that night, so I wouldn't waste my time."
Well, I'm excited for the tour because the last time that we saw you, you had Emily Ann Roberts on with you, and that's when I discovered her, and then I started following her on TikTok, and now I'm like obsessed with her, and her music's so good. She has the Dolly quality to her personality and voice. I just love that kid. I know you do too. I mean, she's just when we were she was on my team on The Voice, and I can't remember what season. It's been a long time ago. She's still a little kid to me when I see her because she was when she was on the show. But she's always had this fun, infectious personality, and she's just, I don't know, they just broke the mold when they made Emily, and her moment's coming. I know it is, and I'm proud to have her out on tour with me. Yeah, she's great.
We were talking about,
get there early so you can see everybody, including her.
Yeah. You mentioned Old Red the bar, but I don't think can we go back in time a little bit to get the story behind the song Old Red?
Sure. It's I moved to Nashville when I was 17, and my first job when I got to town was I was painting Mayborn Axton's house, and just so you guys know, Mayborn Axton is a co-writer on Heartbreak Hotel, and her son was a guy named Hoyt Axton, who was an artist, songwriter, and actor. He was in the Gremlins movie. He was the dad that was the inventor in the Gremlins movie, and I was this kid sitting out on the curb, but she hired me to paint her house, and so I would go to Burger King or something, for lunchtime and get a burger and sit out on the driveway and eat my lunch. And Hoyt happened to be in town during that time, living on his tour bus in her driveway. And one day, his tour bus, he had an old Eagle bus, and it was painted like the Montana sky. I remember that. And he opened the tour bus door, and he said, "Hey, boy, come up here with me." and I walked onto his bus. I was, just super excited and scared. And I mean, this guy was like in my favorite movie as a kid growing up. And I sat on the bus with him, and he all he did was tell me stories, asked me what I was doing in town, was I a singer, and we had this moment pretty much like 3 days in a row when I was there working. He would bring me onto the bus, and one day I turned 18 years old, and he gave me this big, I did not lose this. He gave me this big Bowie knife that somebody had made him, and it was for my 18th birthday. And that day he said, listen to this song. And he started tapping on the table there on his tour bus, and he sang me Old Red. And without a guitar or anything, just his voice. And looking back, it's pretty amazing. It's like a meant to be moment. I was a kid. I'd been in Nashville for 2 weeks, and I'd already found what would go on to be probably my signature song, one of them at least, within 2 weeks of moving to town. And it was Hoyt who said, man, if you ever get a record deal, you ought to record that song. I think people will like it, And he was right. He was absolutely right.
That's probably one of the best stories behind the songs that we've heard. That's
I've
incredible.
never heard it before. I'm so sorry. I've never heard it.
It was a crazy moment.
What a gift. That is absolutely amazing. Oh, I love it. Well, we're done now. That was the best. that was it. That was it. The bread and butter.
That's incredible.
We can only go downhill from here.
Well, congratulations on the new song Texas, and thanks for spending some time with us, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking time for me.
You bet.
We appreciate all the good music. So thank you, and then we'll see you in Vegas.
Okay,
we're on the road. Yeah.
All right. See y'all.
Bye, Blake.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Rob and Holly Show podcast. Follow us at Rob and Holly Show and listen weeknights on Odyssey Country and the free Odyssey app. AUDACY.